It's another Manly Monday, and this Manly Monday, yeah, we're starting off with a bang for 2025. I got kind of mad scientist here, but that's okay. We are talking about the Justin Baldoni stuff with Blake Lively and how, in my opinion, the attempts to tie it in to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, it's all wrong. Now, before we start this video, I am having technical issues with OBS. This is the exact same setting since before the break, but for some odd reason, it's giving me encoding, consider turning down your settings thing. So if there's any audio, video sync things, I don't know what's doing it. But we're gonna soldier forward, and then we'll do the help support this channel, because these new glasses, they don't look new, but they're a new prescription. They cost me $900 freaking dollars, so I need money because I didn't work for a week to take time off. Help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK, or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who use it but can't afford it, coffee.com/LeannaK. That's a very, I need money. That's a very gauche way of doing it, but I believe in being honest. And that's the thing about this. Oh, Blake Lively is Amber Heard and Justin Baldoni is Johnny Depp. That, I think, is putting the gender of the various participants over the behavior of the various participants. Now, those of you who've watched my channel for a while know that I had some serious issues with how Amber Heard conducted herself, and I don't believe she was some poor defenseless victim of big bad, much richer celebrity. Now, ironically, Justin Baldoni is the one claiming he's at the mercy of somebody much more famous in Blake Lively. Now, and Blake Lively's husband. Now, the thing about, well, I'll get to it. I'm going to try to make this quick, but comparing people just based on the gender of the participants is reductive and wrong. You have to look at the behavior and the reactions of the various parties involved and see if there is a pattern of truthful or behavior that makes sense or that you can relate to, as opposed to just going man bad, woman good. That and why? Okay? Because there are female predators out there. I got bad harassed before the holidays because I said what I saw about a woman in a position of power sexually harassing a man, and I got told I was doing it for attention. And one of the people I told at the time that it happened, so they knew I was telling the truth. One of the people I told at the time tried to make money off my ass, making a video saying about how mean I was to them. Didn't say anything about the fact that whether that's all true, it's not. They know I told them what I saw at the time. And this is the problem. Is that people do weird shit in these situations. People panic because the whole thing is, it's really easy to throw smoke in the air. It's really easy to create false equivalencies. It's really, really easy to go, oh, she's just a bitch that wants attention. And the problem is sometimes it is an attention thing. Most of the time it's a power thing. And there are some things with Justin Baldoni's story that ironically, and I know I'm going to catch shit for this, but like I said at the top, I'm honest to the point of Proust sometimes. Sorry, that's a Yiddish term. It basically means like low class. Like, hey, I need money. Hey, this is what I see, right? Politics aside, I am going just from the analysis of their behavior. One of the things that really made me question Amber Heard's story was the fact that a lot of her violent behavior towards Johnny Depp, in her own words, was, I knew he was going to hit my sister or push my sister down the stairs. Not in response to, well, he raised his hand or something. It was, she had it in her mind that he was going to do it and he had to act, which means he hadn't actually done anything yet. Right? Little things like that. The fact that when he was testifying about a event where he claims she was coming after him violently, he did this, right? He was remembering what he was doing at the time. Whereas when she was describing an instance where she was apparently on the receiving end of the violence, she was doing this. She might have been mimicking what he was doing at the time. She might have also been remembering her own behavior or mimicking something she saw on TV. Like, that was just an odd one. His behavior of remembering where he was and what he was doing at the time made a lot more sense. Doesn't mean he's not a very rehearsed liar. He's an actor. This is just where my opinion comes from. Moving on to Justin Baldoni. Blake Lively insists that she was sexually harassed during the production of It Ends With Us. I won't get into all the details. They're not central to the claim of sexual harassment. Because what do we know? What are the facts in common? Justin Baldoni confirms that he had a fight with Ryan Reynolds, where Ryan Reynolds basically said, "Stop sexually harassing my wife." This is one of the most damning things that came out of Justin Baldoni's side of it. So he knew Blake Lively wasn't happy with what he was doing. Whether she had the right to be, whether she's a precious little snowflake, it doesn't matter, because the accusation in Blake Lively's original lawsuit was that he and his PR people retaliated against her in the press. And everybody saw the bad PR for It Ends With Us. That was a weird campaign. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine, like a couple days before this broke, about how weird that was. How it really seemed like Blake Lively was told to say, "Oh, don't focus on the domestic violence." And then Justin Baldoni comes out and goes, "Yeah, I totally support women who are victims of domestic violence." Like that was just a real, that was a PR disaster, right? They were not on the same page. Now, everybody saw that, and everybody saw the hate that went on Blake Lively for that. That is uncontested. So the fact that he was told, stop sexually harassing her, not whether he did it or not, the fact that he was told, stop. And then there was this funky, messed up PR campaign. These facts are not in dispute, right? We know this. This is good. Because a lot of the things about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, it was a straight up he said, she said, right? So, we do know there was the finger injury, right? And we do know what he said at different times. The question of, was he lying then or was he lying now? But that's not important right now. Please don't jump on me for asides like that. Hear me out. Let the process work. Okay. Blake Lively's suit claims that Justin Baldoni retaliated against her for her complaints and for her wanting things different. And so his PR people and him fed negative stories to the press or helped feed negative stories, and also deliberately made her look stupid on the It Ends With Us press tour. And it comes to his intent, right? And then a bunch of text messages came out, and she claims they mean one thing, he claims they mean the other thing. Who's telling the truth? Well, the text messages are right there, and personally, I'm looking at them and going, having been in situations like that where you're trying to get along with somebody you don't really get along with, I don't see what he sees. And this is where we get into, you look at both stories. Johnny Depp was a hot goddamn mess, but his story held. Amber Heard's story started falling apart. And what the jury said in that case is they disregarded all the other witnesses. They were not skewed by the media reporting surrounding it. It came down to whether they believed him more or whether they believed her more, and they just believed him more. And I think in the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni thing, she's just more credible than him. She is, right? For example, there's a series of text messages where it's about running lines. He claims she invited him to just come into her trailer unannounced while she was pumping breast milk. She had a baby only a few months ago. She was still breastfeeding. His version is this message. It looks like Facebook messages or something like that. Well, maybe it was text. But that was an invitation to just walk into her trailer without knocking with a friend. She says, no, it wasn't. What was the exchange? Want to run lines? Yeah, I'm pumping. Come to my trailer. Okay, I'm eating. I'll be right there. She says, take your time. To me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing this, but once I'm done, and if you've got like an apparatus, if you've got a boob out, you're texting really quick, you're not being super careful about what you're saying, it's more reasonable for her to have meant, one, knock, but also I'll do this and then I'll run the lines with you, hence take your time. Not what he claims, which was it was totally okay to walk in to her trailer while her shirt's off with a friend of his. His version of the story just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter that she invited him to her trailer. There's other things here that don't track, right? Makes sense. The other thing was that he claimed that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were trying to take over the movie, and that Ryan Reynolds got in his face about the sexual harassment. Now, unfortunately for Justin Baldoni, after he said, it was in their penthouse and celebrities were coming and going, unfortunately, somebody who was there went to TMZ and said, yeah, no, everybody knew that it was a conversation about Justin Baldoni's previous behavior and how it was not going to be continued. And no, celebrities weren't coming and going. It was a closed meeting, and Ryan Reynolds was clearly upset, but he wasn't yelling. So we've already had some disproven statements from Justin Baldoni. He could have felt yelled at. Valid. The don't yell at me is sometimes code that people use for don't get upset with me. But Justin Baldoni's version of events, his emotional content in that moment was he was hitting me instead of she was hitting me, right? He said, he was yelling, I have never been spoken to like that in all of my life. Peak Karen moment. Let's break this down, okay? Some guy thinks you've sexually harassed his wife, number one. If you are innocent, you're going, all right, I understand why the guy's upset based on his belief that I was a perv to his wife who just gave birth, and he thinks I fat shamed her. I get why he's pissed. I just didn't do it. That's what you'd expect from a guy who really didn't do it. Not the indignant, I've never been spoken to that way in my life. And the other thing is, as somebody who's worked in television and other forms of media, the idea that you've gotten through a career as lengthy as Justin Baldoni has and never been yelled at, I just don't believe that. That's not the business, right? That's just not how that is bullshit. I call bullshit on that. That is an indignant response. That is a how dare he, not a what the fuck is going on. And it's things like that. It's those inappropriate assumptions. It's those inappropriate emotional responses that make me actually believe that he's angry and he's vengeful and he's in how dare you mode. He sued the New York Times for running the story with the text messages, claiming, oh, they only took her side. And the New York Times said, well, we reached out to his people for comment and they didn't comment, so all we had was her side. Now, okay, media pulls shit with that. They contact you at 4 p.m. for a story that's running at 4:30 and you have to respond right away. But he has PR people. He's not little old me who doesn't have the money, who is like, all right, frantic, scrambled. No, wait, hold on, there's another side. He's got people, multiple people. He had a team of PR people. If they really wanted their side of the story represented in that piece, send the Times a statement. Don't go, oh, they only took her side, if she's the only one that's talking to them. And they're taking it from documents, right? They might have made mistakes, but based on, because TMZ put the one text in question, the one I got the, hey, I'm breast pumping from, and I'm looking this and going, this does not say what he claims. And then we get to the fact that the balance of power in a director-actress relationship is very different than the balance of power in a marriage, right? And again, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, it was a bad marriage. Yes, they met on set, but the bad shit was about their personal relationship. Now, Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, that was supposed to be a strictly professional relationship. And the question is, did he behave professionally? Well, he's trying to claim, well, she was the one that started it and I followed her lead. There's a problem with that. He was the director on the project. She was just an actress. Apparently, she had some say in wardrobe and whatnot, but he's the director. As somebody who has directed, as somebody who has produced, as somebody who has acted, if you're the director and your leading lady is acting like a little brat, you do not match her energy. You set an example of this is the way we behave on this set, right? Just because you're going to do things doesn't mean I'm going to play too, because I don't think that's right. The idea that, oh, she used the word sexy, so that's why I referred to her as sexy or not sexy, or that she needed to be sexier, that is horseshit. That's what you do if you're a supporting cast member, not the director. The director sets the tone. If the director is letting the lead actress, who he thinks he's being a brat, set the tone on his film, that's his failing. So blaming her, again, makes him seem like he's blaming her for his own incompetence, his inability to run his set. And then there's the fact that, Blake Lively says some duh things sometimes. She's got a bit of foot and mouth disease, but she is not somebody who has a record of being precious. So I do think that she probably tried to be nice and tried to paper over some of this stuff and try to play nice with him. And then either retroactively thought, you know what, none of this was okay. I'd never should have been put in that position. Or, sort of, no, I was just playing along to try to placate him the whole time because he was going to do it anyway. And this is where my experiences reporting sexual harassment of a man by a woman come into this. Because the woman who did it, when she got all pissy at me, said I was just doing it for attention, and then finally decided to talk to me months after the event, after completely cutting me out and not paying me, said, well, somebody should have told me if they were uncomfortable. And I said to her, you're supposed to know what appropriate behavior is and what not appropriate behavior is. If you have the power to fire people or to make people really miserable, they're not going to tell you you're out of line. You have to recognize that they're intimidated and you have to take the initiative. You have to know that if you're in those roles. I didn't accept it from her. I don't accept it from Justin Baldoni. And that's why I believe Blake Lively. Not because she's a woman, not because he's a man, because, like I said, I did it the other way before. Because of the way the individuals acted. Interested what you think. Help support this channel. Please be respectful. Please don't go bananas. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. Or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it. Coffee.com/LeannaK. Or other dollar amount you want. You can just put in a different thing in the coffee. It's just a recommended donation. Please be cool in the comments. Do not knee-jerk. Do not go off on other things. Do not make me the embodiment of all woman who hates all men. Please be adults about this. Thanks for watching Manly Mondays.